So the idea of ecological debt is one that says that if you don't live within your environmental means, you will run up an ecological debt. Now, it's not entirely straightforward because there are some resources which are in a global commons, whether it's the atmosphere or whether it's the oceans. And of course, there's the idea that we all, because these things are global commons, have an equal right to use their ability to absorb our wastes and provide us with the resources that we need. So we need a sort of benchmark about what it means for the world as a whole to live within its environmental means, and then to say whether you're in a high consuming country or a low consuming country, whether you're really living within your global means, i.e. you're effectively an environmental creditor, or whether you're massively over-consuming. You're taking half a dozen flights around the world a year, you've got 3 Lexus parked outside, and you're an environmental debtor. You're running up an ecological debt. So if the world as a whole is living beyond its means, then we're running up a kind of a debt to our biocapacity. If within that you've got people who are very low consumers, you might say that they are either living at a level of one planet living or below, then they're kind of living within their means. Or there's people, which means nearly almost everybody in advanced industrialized countries, living well beyond their means, running up ecological debts to the biosphere and effectively ecological debts to the global community, and especially to those people in the world who are consuming well below that level. I grew up under Margaret Thatcher was in power in Britain. And if you talked about the environment then, or if you talked about human rights, or if you talked about social progress, the mantra that would always be echoed back to you was, yeah, but you're not living in the real world, not living in the real world of markets and business and corporations and all of that. But of course now we know, through the best science available, that there's another real world, a real world, that in one sense doesn't give a damn what we do as a human population. And if we want to kind of screw things up and destroy the convivial environment which supports human civilization, fine, go on and do it. It has its own reality. And until we tune into the fact that we and our economy is a sort of subsidiary that has a parent company, which is called the planet and its biocapacity, and that we dance to its tune and not vice versa, we will be in big trouble. And that, for me, is the ultimate challenge and why it's worth thinking about whether we are or are not in ecological debt. Because if we do get into ecological debt and we push the life support systems upon which we depend into insolvency, it's us who are going to suffer. The planet will continue, life in some form will continue, but it won't be a pretty place and it won't be a convivial place for human society. So I think we are unequivocally in ecological debt at the moment, and we need to find a way to align our economic activity, how we live our lives, to work within the environmental budget that the planet is kind enough to make available for us.